Hi guys.
Morning, sir.
Good morning. Good morning. So let's just begin the class. Been a little late. Sorry about that. So yeah. Okay, let's start with the question directly. So prove that in a triangle using vector method, A is equal to B cos C plus C cos D. Let's begin. A is equal to B cos C plus C cos D. Basically, in a right in any triangle. Okay, A, B, C. There's A, B, C here. Now we want this to be proved. The side A is equal to B cos C plus C cos B. You take this as A vector, this as B vector, and this as C vector. You can see from triangle law that B is equal to A plus C here. Doesn't matter which order, which side, and all you take. Okay, so from here you can say that A is equal to C minus B. Sorry, B minus C. All right. Now what can we do here? You can say that A dot A is equal to A dot B minus A dot C. Now A dot A is mod A square. Any doubts here? A dot B is mod B into cos of the angle between them. Okay. So cos of A and B. So A is going in this direction, B is going in this direction. This is the angle. Okay. So this becomes cos pi minus angle B itself. All right. Then plus, sorry, minus A dot C. And what is the angle between A and C now? So A and C is pi minus C. Yeah. I'm even doing here. This is C, angle C. Sorry, this is angle B only, right? Yeah, this is angle B only. So between A and C, be pi minus C. Between A and B, A and B, this will be the angle. Hmm? So this is same as angle C only, right? It will be the same as angle C. This one pi minus C, this C. What does this become? AB minus cos B minus AC cos C. Now we know there's no point putting this minus here because this is mod A square. This will be the corresponding positive value. Okay. So then this becomes AB cos C plus AC cos B. So from here I can say that A is equal to, and again, one issue here. This is side C, this is angle C, this is side B. Side C, this is. Any mistake you can find here?
Sir, A, B cos pi minus C, no, sir.
AB cos pi minus C. Yeah, actually it's AB cos pi minus C. And AC, AB cos C, right? Angle between them is C only, between A and B. A and B is directly C, and between A and C, it will be cos pi minus B, because pi minus B is the angle between them, right? The angle between the vectors is this and this. Okay, so this happens to be C itself, this happens to be pi minus B. Okay, so these are the changes you make, and then you directly get A is equal to B cos C plus C cos B. Any doubts here, guys? Yeah, now it's sorted. Oh yeah, I just didn't take the angle correctly. Okay. It's a very silly mistake. Are any doubts here, guys?
No, sir.
Yeah. Now comes vector product. All right, write some notes. Vector product is basically denoted by A cross B. The magnitude of this would be mod A, mod B, sine theta. Okay. So for dot product, the magnitude was mod A, mod B, cos theta, and it only had magnitude, no direction. But then when you say A cross B, it will actually be mod A, mod B, sine theta into n cap, where n cap is a unit vector perpendicular to both A and B. All right. And the right hand rule you will follow when you do A cross B. You know all this before, right? Okay, you get something out of this called an area vector. This also you know. This is an A, there's a B. When I say mod B into mod B means this length into mod A sine theta. So this is mod A sine theta. Okay. So basically you're multiplying base by height, which is basically the area of this parallelogram. Okay. But then when you say area vector, it will be pointing from this. When you say A cross B, it will be pointing into the screen. Okay, below. When you say B cross A, you're going like this. So the thumb is facing upwards. So that time it will be coming out of the screen upwards. Got this?
Yes, sir.
All right. Any doubts here, guys? Any doubts here? So you've all done this before, but I hope you got some clarification on this. Now, write some properties, please. First one, not commutative. It is not commutative. Basically, A cross B need not be equal to B cross A. Second one, it's not associative. Basically, A cross B cross C need not be equal to A cross B cross C. Okay, depends on which one you take first. Now, if A and B are vectors and M is scalar, then M into A cross B can be written as A cross M into B, which can be written as M into A cross B. And the next property is distributive. That much is enough. No need to explain much. Distributive basically, okay, we'll explain this. Into B plus C can be written as A cross B plus A cross C. Okay. Now if you write B plus C cross A, it will become B cross A plus C cross A. I'm writing that down. Okay. Now, vector product of any vector with a zero vector is a zero vector. A cross zero vector equal to zero vector equal to zero cross A vector. Same thing only it is. Okay. The vector product of two non-zero vectors is a zero vector if they are parallel. Okay, vector product of two non-zero vectors. Of two non-zero vectors is a zero vector. Is equal to zero vector if they are parallel, okay, or collinear, same thing. Got this? Why is that the case? Because when you find two parallel vectors, you know it's a free vector. You can take this and place it here. Okay, make it coincident. So now these two parallel vectors are there. Imagine they start at the same point and they're parallel. Okay, they lie on the same line. That's the area. Okay, what is the area you can form here? It's 0. You can't form a parallelogram. All right, got this? So area 0. So you will say the vector product of two non-zero vectors will be 0 if they are parallel or collinear. Okay. So any vector cross product with itself will definitely be 0. Okay. Now, we know that I cross j. What is I cross j? Can you tell me?
K cap.
Okay. What about j cross k? Yes, please try all this out with your mind, okay, properly. Like, do the j cross k. J goes in this direction and k goes in outside direction. So this comes out
I
to
cap.
Okay, it comes like this. So it'll be in I cap direction. Perfect. Okay. Then k cross I
J cap.
be j cap. So you can say that I, j, and k form an orthonomial triad. Orthonomial triad. Okay. All right. Now, you get something called Lagrange's identity here. That's nothing but a cross b whole square. It's a very silly thing. Don't worry. B square minus a dot b whole square. Understood what this is? You have sine square theta plus cos square theta equal to 1. Multiply the whole thing by mod a mod b square. This is where it came from. Understood? Mod of a cross b square is mod a square mod b square sine square theta. Mod a
Yes,
dot b whole square is mod a square mod b square cos square theta. We use that. So in component form, a cross b will be written as I cap, j cap, k cap here, and then a should be represented as a I cap plus a2 j cap plus a3 k cap. B will be b1 I cap, b2 j cap, b3 k cap. This will be the component form. All right, I'm sure you know this already. Now, okay, here's a question for you. ABC are three non-zero vectors such that A dot B cross C equal to 0. And B and C are not parallel vectors. Prove that A is equal to lambda B plus mu C. Okay, where lambda and mu are some constants. Okay. So when you have some A dot something equal to 0, what can you say here? Either A is equal to 0 or B cross C is equal to 0 or A perpendicular B cross C, right? Okay, guys, any of these three cases are possible. A cross A is equal to 0 is not possible. B cross C not equal to 0 is not equal to 0 because they are not parallel. All right. It's given that they are all non-zero vectors. Now, it leaves me with only one possibility. A is perpendicular B cross C. Okay. Are you with me till here?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, please understand this visually. A is perpendicular to B cross C. All right. So, imagine B and C are two vectors lying on the plane of the screen. Okay, there are B and C. Okay, so there'll be an area vector being formed, right? Going up. Okay, B cross C will actually go down, but you get the idea. It would see here, it would be here. Okay, it comes out of the screen like this. Guys, are you following?
Yes,
This
sir.
is B cross C. Now, what can you say about A? So you can imagine one perpendicular disk here to the center, it moves. So it will be anywhere in this direction, right? Any of these directions it can be. It has to be perpendicular to B cross C. That's the idea. Are you following? The area vector comes out like this, and A is perpendicular to it, which means it will be in any of these directions, right? We have B cross C. Imagine a plane perpendicular to it. So basically, that plane will be parallel to the plane of B and C, or maybe even the plane of B and C itself. Are you following now? I hope so. Anyway, A is a vector on this plane. Okay, so that is what the idea is. Or A is a vector parallel to the plane of B and C. Which means you can say that A, B, and C are coplanar. This was yesterday's theory. So when A, B, and C are coplanar, you can conclude that any vector A can be represented as a linear combination of the other two vectors. Okay. So here you can prove that A is equal to lambda B plus mu C. Sorted? Okay, so here the A perpendicular B dot C means A dot B cross C is equal to 0. All right. Understood this? Is understood any doubt here?
No, sir.
Are you sure? Did you understand this visually? That is all that matters.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, then let's continue with the topic actually. Sin theta is mod A cross B divided by mod A mod B. We know formula for cos theta like this, right? A dot B divided by mod A mod B. Okay. Now, we usually find the sine of the angle. That is not a silly question. Okay, how do you find a vector normal to the plane of two given vectors? What do you do? Imagine they are A and B. How do you find vector normal to the plane? You can easily find the unit vector normal to the plane. Okay. Unit vector or vector, you just multiply it with the constant. Okay. So, how do you find n cap? It's nothing but A cross B, okay, plus or minus divided by mod of A cross B. Is this clear?
Yes, sir.
Right. So any vector perpendicular to this will be given by lambda into this. Okay, this is what any vector will look like. You multiply with the constant with the magnitude. Okay. Quickly find unit vector perpendicular to 6i plus 2j plus 3k and 3i minus 6j minus 2k. Quickly do this, come on.
Sir, it's plus or minus 14 by 49 I cap plus 21 by 49 j cap minus
You divide
42
by
by
7, right?
what's that?
Huh.
Oh,
Divide numerator and denominator by 7, right?
square root I forgot to take, sir.
Okay, so then what does that become? I think you got the right answer. 14, 21 and minus 42, right?
Yes, sir.
The numerator and 49 in the denominator. Yeah, you got the right answer. But don't forget there'll be a plus or minus. Okay, you can. So there's a plane with these vectors A and B. Thing is, it can go this way or this way. Either way, it will be perpendicular to the plane. Following, guys? Understood?
Yes, sir.
Right. So how did you do this? You did A cross B. You found A cross B, which is I, J, K, 6, 2, 3, 3 minus 6 minus 2. We'll get to this. I into minus 4 plus 18 plus j cap into 9 plus 12, which is 21, plus k cap into minus 36 minus 6, which is minus 42. The whole thing divided by its magnitude. Okay. So this you write it as, so A cross B alone, you write it this way as minus, 49 plus 21j minus 42k, which can be written as 7 into 2i plus 3j minus 6k. All right. So you want to divide this by the modulus. So that will have 7 in it. And then root of 2 square plus 3 square plus this. It's 13 plus 36, which is 49, which becomes 7. So 7 and 7 cancel out. And don't forget to put a plus or minus. That's the important part here. Okay. You can go in either direction. Be careful of that. Okay. Then there is something called right-handed system and left-handed system. So right-handed system would come out like this. Okay, so there are three vectors A and B to form a system. Okay, then if you get A cross B equal to C, B cross C equal to A, C cross A equal to B, you have a right-handed system. Example, I cap, J cap, and K cap. Then left-handed system is where C cross B is equal to A, B cross A is equal to C. Okay. Then you have A cross C equal to B here. Got this? Have A, B, C. A cross B equal to C. B cross C equal to A. You can write it cyclically. C cross A equal to B. All right. So this is a right-handed system. You're moving this way. Now, A, okay. A, B, C. C cross B equal to A. B cross A equal to C. Now, A cross C is equal to B. This is a left-handed system. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Oh, you understood the concept, right? Area of a parallelogram. When you have A vector and B vector, to find the area of the parallelogram they form, what do? You do a simple A cross B, because this is nothing but, and you put a modulus outside. Okay, don't forget to do that. Otherwise, you'll get a vector out of it. So A, B, sine theta. We know that B into sine theta would be the height, and mod A would be the breadth. Okay. So base into height would be the area. Are you following, guys? The first point. Okay, just write it as areas, the subtopic. Areas. Okay. Area of parallelogram. Now, area of parallelogram. Next point. Area of parallelogram with diagonals D1 and D2. With diagonals D1 and D2 is half D1 cross D2. With adjacent sides A and B is A cross B. Okay, here it's half D1 cross D2. Okay. Then area of any quadrilateral ABCD will also be, we can use this formula here. Okay, the diagonals will be AC and BD. Following, guys? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
All right, then area of triangle with adjacent sides A and B. Okay, so you have a triangle now, A and B. So what do? You form a parallelogram and divide it into two congruent triangles. Are you following, guys? So this will become half A cross B. Okay, A cross B is a parallelogram, and you divide by 2 to get the area of the triangle. All right. Then area of triangle ABC will come out to half AB cross AC. Or I can write this as half BC cross BA, or half CB cross A. Okay, you can use any two sides in the triangle. I hope I made that clear here. It's like half BH, you can apply to any side of the triangle. You can make any side the base. Just like that, this is. Okay, just like that. Now, if A, B, and C are position vectors of points of triangle ABC, then area can be written as half A cross B plus B cross C plus C cross A. Alright, guys? Right, so you have like 3 points here, A, B, and C, with position vectors, okay, related to some random origin. Okay, A, B, and C vectors are here. But the idea is you found 2 vectors. A minus B vector and A minus C vector, right? And you find their cross product and multiply by half the magnitude to get the area of the triangle. We know that for a fact. We know if we have 2 sides, we can find the area of the triangle. We'll take one side as A minus B and the other side as A minus C. Then this becomes half of A cross A is 0. Okay, is 0. Then minus A cross C minus B cross A plus B cross C, which I write as minus C cross B. And then take plus, as in this minus 1 outside the magnitude. Okay, so then I'll get the same formula, right? Or no, I'll keep the minus 1 inside, I'll convert everything. This becomes C cross A, this becomes A cross B, this becomes B cross C. Either way, it's the same formula. Are you following, guys?
Yes, sir.
All right. So this is for area of a triangle. I hope all of this was crystal clear to you. So you can say 3 points in position vectors A, B, and C are collinear if A cross B plus B cross C plus C cross A is equal to 0. Okay. If you get this much also, it's good enough to say that the 3 points are collinear. All right. Okay, write this question down. Do this question. Show that perpendicular distance from point C to the joining of A and B is B cross C plus C cross A plus A cross B divided by B minus A. Guys, quickly do this. Just testing if how well you understood this. Come on, quickly do this. Guys, 2 minutes time. Quickly do this. Come on. 42, 44. Come on, come on, come on. Any answers, guys? Anybody got the answer? Guys, quickly start solving, guys. Why are you not doing it? So there's A, B, and C. There are like three vectors here, A, B, and C. Okay, they are position vectors. Now, what are we doing here? We are looking for the perpendicular distance from C to the joining of A and B. Okay, we are looking for this distance. So, how do I find this length? I know that area is what? Half of B cross C, C cross A cross B. All right. So area is nothing but half into breadth into height. So I'll take this as the base. So this will have length mod of B minus A into height is what I'm trying to find. All right, equal to half. You can see the answer form, right? Once you got half and bring this below, you get the answer directly. Okay, I hope this was crystal clear. Any doubts here, guys?
No, sir.
Yeah. All right. How many of you do not know this? Scalar triple product. Or haven't even heard of this? Guys, how many of you?
Sir, I've heard of it, sir.
Okay. Any of you else have heard of this?
No, only heard of this.
Okay. This is commonly known as box product. You can write it as A, B, C. This expansion is nothing but A cross B dot C. Okay, there's a cross and a dot product happening. But then, like A cross B is a vector first. Okay, you find that vector and you dot it with C. Now, what you finally get is a scalar value. All right. So you can, you will also understand that this is nothing but A dot B cross C. They both come out to be the same scalar value. Okay. Both come out to be the same scalar value. So it doesn't matter where is the order, okay, of the cross and the dot product. So what is, okay, so suppose you have three vectors given to you, A, B, and C. This is I cap, I cap, I cap. Now, you are given three vectors. So suppose A and B lie on this plane. A and B lie on the same plane. Two vectors will always lie on the same plane. You can always draw a plane through two vectors. Now, and some C comes out like this. Okay. C vector is here, A vector is here, B vector is here. Now, when I do an A cross B, I'll put A here actually for convenience. When I do an A cross B, what do I get? The first part. This is O, this is capital A, this is capital B. So then, when I do an A cross B, I get the area of a parallelogram. Okay, let this point be C. No, let this point be D. Okay, so this is area of parallelogram OADB. Okay, and this is in the n cap direction, perpendicular to the plane of A and B, right? Is this much clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, this you will find the dot product with C vector. Am I right? So then how can you write this? This is nothing but area of parallelogram OADB into C, and then there's a perpendicular vector, right? Okay. So it will be mod C into mod n cap, which is 1 itself, into cos of the angle between this. I'll call it phi. Okay, cos phi. Is this much clear to you guys?
Yes, sir.
Any doubts here, guys? Any doubts here so far?
No, sir.
All right. So C cos phi, what does that come out to? That is nothing but this height, guys. All right. So let me take one big fat book. Okay. So can you see the book here? All right. So assume few vectors here. Okay. So A is coming here, B is coming here, and C is going up, something like that. All right. Okay, guys, are you following? So when I did an A cross B, I found the area of this parallelogram. All right, that is below. Guys, are you following this much? So this parallelogram, that is the magnitude. And then the direction was in a plane perpendicular to that parallelogram. Okay, in a plane perpendicular to that parallelogram. Now that normal you take, normal vector, and you dot it with C vector. Now C was going along this edge. Okay, C was going along this edge. So I just share it a little more. Okay, so C is going along this edge, and the height is going like this straight. Okay, height is going straight, and C is going along this edge. Are you guys following? Okay, so when I find the dot product of C and the unit vector going perpendicularly straight, what do I find? Mod C into cos phi. Mod C into cos phi is what? Is the height, right? So in this parallelogram 3D version, which is called parallelepiped, okay, so you can see that this is the height. This is like a 3D version of a parallelogram. All right. Okay, so every face you see is another parallelogram on its own. Okay. All right. I'm not talking about a cuboid, I'm talking about a parallelepiped, not just a cuboid. Cuboid is also applicable here. But even if you give it an angle, like this looks like a cuboid, but I'm talking about something like this with an angle. All right, guys? Are you following? So when I kept writing area of parallelogram OABD because this is the base area. Okay. C into cos phi. You can see that this is nothing but the height. This is the volume of parallelepiped. Okay. Any doubts here? You have to understand it visually, otherwise, no, you're not getting it. Mind by heart, there's no point. If you understand it visually, then it makes sense. Okay. So you're basically getting a volume. And the final scalar value will be a volume of a parallelepiped formed by these three vectors. So you take three vectors. If they form a volume, you simply find, and if they form a parallelepiped and you want to find the volume, simply take their scalar triple product. Okay. Now you can use this to find if three vectors are coplanar. Why? If they lie on the same plane, the volume made by them will be 0. Okay, you'll get an area, not a volume. Okay, are you following? So the volume formed by the coplanar vectors will be 0. So which means what does that mean? The scalar triple product value will be 0. It means three are coplanar vectors. All right. Keep this in your mind. It's important. Okay, now let's write some properties. I'm feeling half of you didn't understand, but yeah, we'll have to move on. Okay, this is how you write Okay, sorry, not cross C, dot C. This is the scalar triple product. All right. The A cross B is simply replace C1, C2, C3 with I cap, J cap, K cap. That's it. Okay, and dotted with C, you replace that part with C1, C2, C3. All right. So basically, how do you find A cross B? That is I cap, J cap, K cap, A1, A2, A3, B1, B2, B3. Okay, so you get I cap into something, J cap into something else, K cap into something else. This you'll dot it with C, which is C1 I cap, C2 J cap, C3 K cap. So whatever I cap component here would be multiplied by C1 part. So you can remember it like this: C2 K3 will become C3. Okay, this is the total scalar triple product. And rearrange these two rows and then rearrange these two rows. Rearrange these two rows, you get a -1 outside. Then again, after that, you rearrange these two rows, second and third row. Then you get -1 outside, -1 become +1. And that's how you get this one here. Now, cyclic change makes no difference. ABC is BCA is CAB. All right, this is called cyclic change. Just think about it like this. Think about the determinant, okay? Determinant here will be B1, B2, B3, C1, C2, C3, A1, A2, A3. What is the difference between both? I can get both. I can get this and this. I'll substitute what? The first and third row. Okay, I'll get a -1 outside. Then after that, I'll replace second and third row. And then I'll get another -1 outside. So then I'll get the same thing. That is the cyclic change I'm explaining here. And the third part is scalar product of ABC is the scalar product of BAC minus of it. What happened here? A non-cyclic change happened. Okay, just these two rows. Just think about A as one row, B as a second row, C as a third row. Just these two rows have been interchanged. Okay, so you get a -1 outside. Is this much is clear or not?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right. Then fourth one, K, A, B, C, A vector, B vector, C vector. K is a constant. Can be written as, I can take K common outside, B and C. You understood what happened here? Like K was multiplied into a row. You can take from a determinant, you can take from one row at a time, right? Constants, common. That's exactly what I did here. Look at it that way. Then, yeah. A plus B and then CD equal to A, CD plus B, C. Understood what happened here? Rest everything is constant. Along one row, you can expand the sum. Okay. So if you know determinant, this will be like easy for you. Right. So these things form a right-handed system if A, B, and C form a right-handed system if scalar product A, B, and C is greater than 0, and they form a left-handed system if A, B, and C is less than 0. Okay. But then that other condition should be satisfied, okay? A cross B equal to C, B cross C equal to A. Okay. Understood? C cross A equal to B. That condition should be satisfied. But first thing you can check is this. Right, for right-handed system and left-handed system. Now, for three vectors to be coplanar, the volume of the parallelepiped should be 0. Think like that. Okay. For three vectors to be coplanar, the volume of the parallelepiped should be 0. Okay. Or you have like three position vectors given to you, have 3 points given to you. This should be equal to 0. That's the idea. Okay. Now, where's the next point? Next one, cap plus y1 b cap plus z1 c cap, comma x2 a cap y2 b cap plus z2 c cap. Okay, this can be written as x1 y1 z1, x2 y2 z2, x3 y3 z3 into scalar product of ABC. Look at it as determinant multiplication. Okay, this is xi's, yi's, zi's, which you are multiplying by ai's, bi's, and ci's. Are you following? You do row by row multiplication. This you get the first term in the multiplied determinant. This into this, you get the second term in the multiplied determinant. This into this, you get the third term in the multiplied determinant. But then just remember this, it's easy to remember. Nothing much to worry about. Okay. Now, next point. 4 points. A, B, C, D are coplanar. How do you prove that? For that, you make 3 vectors, AB, AC, and AD. Alright, and then prove that their scalar triple product would be equal to 0. Or you can write it as AB, BC, CD. Basically form, like use these 4 points to form 3 vectors, any 3 vectors. Okay, they shouldn't repeat, that's all. Okay, you form any 3 vectors and then check if they coplanar, simple. Alright, got this? Okay, what can you say about AAB? What about this one?
Zero, sir.
0. Why? Because in the
A cross A
parallel,
is 0, sir.
A cross A is 0. Fair enough, fair enough. A cross A is 0. Or think like this. In a parallelepiped, you're taking 2 sides to be the same and the third side to be like not the same. You won't get a volume, you'll get an area. Okay, so the volume is 0 for such cases. So when a vector repeats within the same thing, or when 2 vectors are parallel inside a scalar triple product, you get 0. Okay. Now there's a result I want you to remember. Okay, a few results I want you to remember. Volume of a tetrahedron. Okay. The volume of a tetrahedron. So there are like 3 sides given by ABC. Alright, 3 sides. Alright, that is nothing but 1 by 6 A, B. This will be volume of tetrahedron. So volume of tetrahedron is 1 by 6 times the volume of the parallelepiped. Okay. For 2 dimensions, volume of parallelogram. Sorry, area of parallelogram. And area of triangle. There's a ratio of 1 by 2. Okay. For this, volume of parallelogram, volume of parallelepiped and volume of tetrahedron have a ratio of 1 by 6. Okay. Now, note these results. Angle between edge and a face. Edge and a face not containing the angle. Okay. Is cos inverse 1 by root 3. The angle between the edge and the face not containing the angle. Now, any 2 edges any two edges of a tetrahedron, of a regular tetrahedron are perpendicular. Okay, are perpendicular. Angle between any two faces cos inverse 1/3. There's no root there. Okay. All right, keep this in your mind. Volume of a tetrahedron. Okay, this is not that important or anything, but it's good to know. Okay, so volume of a parallelepiped you can find, right? If three vectors are given to you. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So whenever you see scalar triple product happening, just treat them like determinants. It'll be much easier if you have done determinant better. If you know this chapter better, then treat determinants like scalar triple product. Okay. Then yeah, that's it for scalar triple product. Okay, if we'll do one question. U, V, W are three non-coplanar vectors, then U plus V minus W into U minus V cross V minus W. Okay, what is the value this can take? I'll give some options. 0, V is U dot W, V is U dot W plus V, V is 3U dot V cross W. Alright, which of these is the correct answer? Come on. Guys, simply expand, find the answer quickly. Come on.
Oh wait, sir, is it 0?
0, I don't think so. You do here. There'll be 3 into 2 into 2, just 12 terms. Okay. So one you will get is u dot u cross v when you expand it. Okay, plus u dot u cross minus w plus u dot minus v cross v. Okay, so you can see a lot of dot like scalar triple products being formed. Okay, when you expand each of these parts. Okay, u cross u dot v, u cross u dot u cross minus w, like and so on. Then u dot minus v cross v and so on. So we'll write them neatly like this: u v plus u minus w plus u minus v and then v plus u minus v minus w. Then we do the same with v, right? V u v plus v u minus w plus v minus v v minus v minus w. Then we'll do the same with minus w. That's minus w u v minus w u minus w w minus v v. So right now I wasted a lot of time. Why? I wrote all the terms out individually. Basically, whenever you see two terms happening at the same time, it means two parallel lines are there inside. You cancel them out. It becomes 0. Okay. So this remains. This goes. This remains. This goes. This goes. This remains. This goes. This goes. And this goes. So we are left with 3 terms here. Okay. The 3 terms are. So we need to write it in UVW form. Okay. Or UWV form. That we'll figure it out. Okay. So this becomes U VW. So I'll take minus 1 outside from both. So it becomes U VW scalar triple product. Okay, the first term. The second term becomes minus. I'll take the minus 1 outside and become VUW. So the thing is, I'll make this into UV. So when I interchange 2 rows in a determinant, what happens? Minus sign comes outside. Then comes the last part. Minus this thing, U and V. So I need to write it in UVW form. So first I'll interchange these two and then I'll interchange these two. Okay. So when I interchange these two, one minus sign comes out and this becomes U into minus W. And then I interchange these two. What happens? Another minus sign comes out, which is plus, and then becomes U, V minus W. Don't forget to take the minus outside, so it becomes minus. These two will cancel out, and this is all that will remain. U, V, W is what remains, and option B will be the correct answer. Okay. Any doubts here?
No, sir.
Yeah, then what can you tell me about this? Like a triple product goes like this. What can you say about this? Okay, what can you say about this? Okay, this is A vector. This is a vector perpendicular B and C, right? Okay, and this entire vector will be perpendicular A and perpendicular to a vector which is already perpendicular to B and C. So think of a vector perpendicular to B and C. Okay, that'll be like this. Okay, B and C lie on this plane. This vector will come out of it. Okay, this is a vector perpendicular to both B and C. We are talking about a vector which is perpendicular to this perpendicular, which means what? Lie on this disk somewhere. Okay, it'll be facing in any of those directions. It will be perpendicular. Okay, now perpendicular to this perpendicular. So what can you say about that? This is in the plane of B and C. If you understood the rest of the class, this will be easy for you. Okay, this is perpendicular to the perpendicular of B and C, which means it is in the plane of B and C. Okay, you have a vector in the plane of P and C, and you have a vector A, which you'll find a cross product. No, sorry. So it'll be perpendicular to A and in the plane of B and C at the same time. That's the idea. Okay, perpendicular to A and in the plane of B and C in the same idea. Is this clear? Now is it clear? Understand what's happening here. When I say A cross B cross C, what is happening? So first let's look at the A cross B cross C part. So B cross C means there's a vector which is, you'll get a vector perpendicular to B and C. Okay, so you take A and do a cross product with it. So finally you'll get a vector which is perpendicular to A. It'll also be perpendicular to the perpendicular to B and C, which means it lies in the plane of B and C. Okay, so it should be perpendicular to A and lie in the plane of B and C. I hope this much was clear. Right. So since this lies in the plane of B and C, I can say that A cross B cross C is L into B plus M into C, where L and B are some constants. Okay. All right. So A cross B cross C is in the plane of B and C. So I can represent it using both B and C. Those who understood yesterday's class will get this perfectly. Right. Okay. Since it's in the plane of B and C, I can represent it as a linear combination of both the non-parallel vectors B and C here. Now, it's given that this is parallel to A. Sorry, this is perpendicular to A. This is perpendicular to A as well. If I take the dot product with A, I'll get 0. Right? So, this becomes 0. I'll take dot product with A vector. Right. So, when I get 0 equal to L into B dot A plus M into B dot A or A dot C or B dot A. So, here I can say that L into A dot B or B dot A, same thing, it is equal to minus M into A dot C. Okay. So from here I can conclude that L by A dot C equal to M minus M by A dot B, which I will call it as lambda. All right. So L will be what? Lambda A dot C, and M will be minus lambda A dot B. Okay. So bring that in. Bring that in. So from here I can say that A cross B cross C becomes lambda A dot C into B minus lambda A dot B. All right. So when you plug in values of A, B, and C, just remember it like this. Lambda will be equal to 1. Okay. So whenever you get A cross B cross C, okay, you write that as A dot C B vector minus A dot B C vector. Please remember this formula. This is very useful. Okay. The derivation is not really that useful. So remember the formula. Okay. Got this? So remember, A cross B cross C can be written as, so in terms of B first and then in terms of C. Okay. And then A dot C cross and into B minus A dot B into C vector. Right? People like that. Okay, so this is how you should mentally remember it. Okay. Write in terms of B first and then write in terms of C. Guys, please remember this order, okay? It's very important. All right. Then comes reciprocal system of vectors. Okay, guys, let's do one small problem based on this. It's been a while. Okay. If A is minus I plus J plus K, B is 2I plus K, find vector X satisfying one coplanar with A and B, 2 perpendicular to B, 3 A dot X equal to 7. I want to do this. It is coplanar with A and B, perpendicular to B, and A dot X is equal to 7. If you understood what I said right now, you will easily get the fact that X will be some constant into perpendicular to B and lies in the plane of A and B. Okay, this is what you get. Any doubts here from the first two parts? It is perpendicular to B and lies in the plane of A and B, means I can write X in this form. Where lambda takes some plus or minus value, doesn't matter. Okay, this way or that way. Okay, but this is how it will look. Any doubts here?
No, sir.
All right. Then you write this as B dot B C minus B dot A into B. Yes, I'll write that as A dot B into, not C vector, it's A vector. Sorry. Understood here? Okay. This dot this into A vector minus this dot A vector into the second one, B vector. Right. This is what you get for X. Now I know that A dot X, A is given to me. And we can use everything actually. So A is mine. Okay. So this is write it in neat form. Okay. Mod B square. Mod B is root of 4 plus 1, which is root 5. This becomes 5 into A vector, which is minus I plus J plus K minus A dot B. A dot B becomes minus 2 plus 1, which is minus 1. So this becomes plus 1 into B, which is 2I plus K. Okay, this is what I obtained. So X becomes lambda into minus 3I cap plus 5J cap plus 6 a cap. Now, this is x vector. Okay, x vector. A dot x is equal to 7. So this becomes lambda into 1 minus 1 plus 1 plus 1. Okay, so this becomes 3 plus 5 plus 6. All right, this is equal to 7. So which means 14 lambda is equal to 1 by 2. Substitute lambda here to get the value of x. Okay. Understood what I did here? Or do you need another explanation?
Got it.
Please learn to do this on your own, all of you. Okay. Okay, so next class we'll start 3D coordinate system. Okay, 3D geometry we'll do. Right, but any doubts in this class, from this class, guys? Any doubts here? Or there should be doubts. Is any doubts? Any doubts? I can't hear you guys.
So
No,
no
sir.
doubts.
Okay. Lakshanya, Aditi, any doubts?
No, sir.
Harish, Siddharth?
No, sir.
All right. Okay, then, so guys, please practice some problems based on this. The theory has been completed. Just practice properly. Okay, how to solve and find the vector, like using logic. All right, and try to imagine every question they give to you in 3D form. That is the important part. Okay, try to imagine and quickly manipulate the 3D figure that you form in your mind. Okay, if you can't imagine it properly, at least draw it out. Learn how to draw it out. So that it doesn't look too bad. Okay, so please use this chapter well and strengthen your imagination. Okay, so next class we'll start coordinate geometry. Okay, all right. So that's it
Yes,
for
sir.
this for today's class. Yeah, see you in the next class.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
take care.